IT Expo Miami 2009.
Hi, I'm Eric Lanass coming to you from Miami, Florida at IT Expo. And I'm sitting here now with Scott Heinlein, who is a Senior Manager of Service Provider Marketing over at Juniper Networks. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad you could be here. One of the things I read this morning before we kicked off these videos was an announcement that Juniper made that really, I guess, addresses one of the things a lot of people are talking about. It's the changing business models that we're seeing in the market today.
Yeah, so what we announced was a 25 terabit multi-chassis routing platform. And in effect, what it does is it can join together 16 of our T1600 routers into one single virtual routing platform. And so what this lets a service provider do is scale their network, both from a forwarding plane and also from a control plane perspective.
Why the focus? There's been a little more of a focus, a heavier focus on virtualization in the industry as a whole. Where does that come from?
So the virtualization, what it allows you to do is, in effect, slice up part of the network so that sliver of a network can focus on a particular service. So if I'm a service provider and I want to provide, say, IPTV services, I can slice off a part of the network that's focused just on delivering that IPTV service. So it has its own resources, its own memory, its own administration. It's securely separate from all the other resources on the network. So it allows a service provider to offer a service more quickly than what they would be without being able to virtualize a service.
So that actually benefits the end user as well as the provider.
Absolutely. So as a service provider, I can sliver off a piece of my network, dedicate it to IPTV. That allows me to segregate and also control more the user experience for that particular IPTV service. So if I have a network that's dedicated for dedicated resources, dedicated memory, dedicated routing planes for that particular service, I'm able to control that service better to that end user. So the end user results in having a higher experienced IPTV service.
What is entailed in a service provider then moving to this level of virtualization or scalability?
Yeah, so it's a matter of being able to control both the forwarding plane of the router and also the control plane. So we have a product that works in conjunction with the TX Matrix Plus, and that product is the JCS 1200. And the JCS 1200 is in effect almost like a rack of route engines where you can control or you can scale the control plane of a router by adding blades to it. And by doing that, it has no impact on the forwarding capacity of the router. So you can virtualize this, in this case with the TX Matrix Plus, up to 25 terabits of forwarding capacity into different domains to support those particular services.
I think one of the things that any small business or enterprise that's looking to make an investment asks is, what kind of ROI can I expect? The service provider community certainly has to be asking the same questions. So how do they justify as kind of an addition? Yeah,
so from a ROI perspective, the TX Matrix Plus provides 25% more routing than the competitors. And it also, when you look at the green aspect of it, because it uses about half the rack space of our competitors to deliver that, it uses about 40% less power. So from an ROI perspective, the service provider gets the benefit of being able to scale up to 25 terabits while at the same time decreasing operating expenses to actually maintain that equipment through more green networking, less power, less cooling, and so forth.
Fantastic, exciting stuff for the service provider community. We've been talking here at IT Expo with Juniper Networks' Scott Heinlein. Scott, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.